Alyssa Rogers, you are the Vice President of Rogers Heating and Cooling in South Boston, Virginia. I'm so excited to chat with you today. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Oh, well, thank you. It is an honor to be here with you. You've got such an incredible story, and I can't wait to get into it. But we're going to kick off the show the way we do every single one, which is how did you get into the trades?
I married into the trades. I would not be sitting here today if I hadn't have married into the trades. I met my husband, Joey Rogers, and I had just graduated college, wanted to get into the corporate world, and met him. He was in the trades. He's been in the trades majority of his life. So he introduced me to it, and here I am today.
I love that you said that, and we've obviously had a bunch of husband and wife duos come on the show before. I really make a concerted effort to highlight women in the trades, and a
Yes.
lot of them married into the industry. So you're in great company. When we first spoke, you talked about how you had these aspirations to climb the corporate ladder. I
Right.
want to know what Joey said to you to get you to join Rogers.
Well, yes, I did have all intentions of climbing the corporate ladder, and I was doing that for a few years before joining Rogers. So, I had a bit of a marketing background, and I was working in sales and marketing and project management. And he came home. I knew that he wanted to grow the family business because it was just a couple of employees. And so he was learning the ropes and really wanting to expand. We didn't have wrapped vehicles at the time. So he came home one night and said, Alyssa, I have this great brand. I talked to this marketing agency. Take a look at this. And he showed me what Rogers Heating and Cooling was going to look like. And it was terrible. It was really, really bad. And I told him, I said, oh my gosh, you need my help. And so he said, yes, I do. And I need you to join Rogers and be part of this movement. And so I said, oh my gosh, it was not even on my radar, really. I mean, I thought about it sometimes, but I said, you know what, I'm doing really well. And I have these goals where I currently am. And then he just, he convinced me. And so the brand you see today was not the one he originally brought to me. I, had to reach out to some agencies and get the brand that we have today. So that's how I got into it. He convinced me, and I wouldn't have it any other way now.
That's awesome. We've talked a lot about branding on this show. We had Dan Antonelli, who's a big brander of the trades. I don't know if
This
that's
is
his
his
official title.
design. This is Dan.
Oh, amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. So I'm just curious, what did that original logo look like? Was it heating and was it sun and ice? Was it fire and ice? What was it?
I wish I'm going to have to go back into the archives and see if I can find it. I need to find that, but it was still, it wasn't a completely wrapped vehicle. It was just kind of some lettering on a white van, and yeah,
Mm,
much like the sun and the ice, and it was really bad. I think the colors were dull, like green, like dull green, beige. It was not
mm.
good. Yeah. So
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Wouldn't it be I just thought of this idea, but that would be a fun April Fool's joke for all of my HVAC customer or any of my contractors out there who listen. If on April Fool's you like change your Facebook branding to your old logo and be like, guys, we updated our logo. What do you think? And then
that would
make
be
it an
great.
April Fool's thing. That could be really fun. Um,
Yes.
so Joey this is his family's, now your family business, right? And you and Joey took over from your father-in-law in July 2017. And since that, you've grown from 3 to 32 team members. Congratulations. Oh
Thank
my
you.
goodness. You're also pacing to hit your first $1 million month this year in 2023. So how did you do it?
Let's go. Oh my gosh, it's crazy we're even talking about that. So I remember in 2017, we were at about $800,000 in revenue for 2017, and just pacing. I just
Wait,
remember Joey,
$8,000 in revenue in 2000 for
800,000.
all. 800,000. I was like
Yes.
$8,000.
Oh, sorry, 800,000. We were at 800,000 in revenue for 2017, and I just remember Joey pacing the floor, just pacing. It was in our old house, in our kitchen, just pacing the floor. How are we going to get to 1 million? How many heat pumps do we need to sell? How are we going to do this? So the fact that we're even talking today about our first $1 million month, it's very humbling for me because it's taken a lot to get to that. But, it's just taken a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. I mean, $1 million in revenue in our first month and getting from 3 employees to 32 employees, it's just an honor. It's an honor to have these people surrounding us, and getting to come see their smiling faces every day is just really amazing for me and helping them achieve their goals. That's huge for us here.
That's awesome. I love how you focused on humility. I think there's going to be a lot of that theme throughout the show. Going back to how you did it though, like as Joey was pacing, right? Like how, I mean, especially once you joined the team and once you got your hands in on the everyday of the business, what were some of the things that you tackled first? What were some big obstacles or challenges you had to overcome?
Yeah. So the first thing, of course, was the brand. So we released the brand in January of 2018. We're in a small rural community. So, fully wrapped vehicles just were not a thing in any industry around our area. It just wasn't a known thing. So wrapping the vehicles was huge for us. It made a statement in our community, so that was huge. And people thought we were a new company. And although the company had been open since 1996, they just weren't used to seeing these bright, colorful vehicles all over the place and thought we were new to town and then realized that we weren't. But, so that was big. But providing opportunities, like I said, we're in a small town. And we have been able to provide opportunities to individuals that they never thought were available to them in an area like this. And I think that's a
Mm.
lot of how we've gotten to where we are today because culture is very important to us. Providing opportunities to people is very, very important to us. And making sure that they know that they can come here with no experience and become a manager, a leader in the company. We are still small enough at 32 employees where Joey and I are here every single day and they get to work with us. We have an amazing, outstanding leadership team that lead our departments that they get to work with every single day and be sponges. And we know that, it's very big here, growing out of your seat. I preach it from the rooftops all the time to everyone that comes here. I want everyone to grow out of their seat. And they look at me kind of crazy, like, what does that mean? Grow out of my seat? And it's not really known, a lot because people think I'm going to get a job. I'm going to go home every day. I'm going to, get a couple raises here and there, but it's so much more than that. And we can offer so much more than that to individuals. And knowing I want people coming to me saying they want my seat because there are seats I want to achieve. There's, I want to move out of mine and I want people to know that they need to open up opportunities to others. And so I think that making sure that they know that and having people come here with no experience and grow into leadership positions is here. I mean, almost our entire leadership team came here with zero experience in the trades. And here we are 3 years later. And for some of them, 3-4 years later that they've been here, they're leading departments and they came here with no experience. So
That's
the opportunities are
awesome.
here. And I think that's been a huge reason why we are where we are today, because we do provide those opportunities for everyone.
That's so incredible. I wrote down, I'm sure you saw, I was scribbling down stuff
Yeah.
while you were giving that beautiful answer. The first thing that really um, got my attention was how you're providing opportunities in a rural area where people oftentimes don't think there are opportunities. And this reminds me of an episode I did way, way back with Russell Furr, who also is in a similar smaller community. And he actually might be in your area, kind of around that part of the country of the United States. He's like, people are always going to DC to get the jobs, but I want
Yes.
them to come here by me. And he talked about how that was a great recruiting tool because there are people in the trades that don't want to commute into big cities and that would prefer to be in their local communities. Also, I'm sorry, my mouth like completely dropped for anyone who's not watching the video. You said your leadership team is outstanding, and when they started at Rogers, they had zero experience in the trades. That is really phenomenal.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
is,
95, I would even say 97% of our team, of the 32 people here, came here with zero experience. And so that is also humbling that they, every time we send an offer letter out, still to this day, I just get so giddy because, and they accept, when they accept, I'm just thinking to myself, oh my gosh, they're coming to work at Rogers. They sign the paper. I'm just so excited and humbled every single time someone joins the team because I'm a hype man. I love to hype people up and see people succeed. And so it's just so exciting to me every time someone accepts the position here, and knowing that we can, give them the experience and show them what it's like to be a professional and what opportunities are, presented to them in the trades that people don't realize.
yeah. I want to get into, I also, your hype woman status completely. I see it's very infectious. Your energy is infectious, and I
Yeah.
can definitely see how that would translate to your team. I want to get back into the grow out of their seat bit,
Yeah.
but I'm still stuck on incredible leadership team who had zero experience in the trades before they came to Rogers. Can you tell me the story of maybe one of the members of your leadership team who came in totally green and how they grew to where they are today?
Sure. I mean, okay, so there are actually three that come to mind. I'll be very quick about each of them. So we have Justin Lloyd, who is our sales lead, sales manager. He came here with a radio background, didn't even really know what a SEER rating was or anything. And he wanted to give sales a try. He came here. He is 100% commission and has been since day one. And so he we do like ring ceremonies and everything, that you get championship rings for every $1 million that you sell. And he has a $3 million sales ring. And he has been with us since 2021. So he just hit his 2 years here. And so he is killing it. And we just, he was in radio and now he's selling like crazy and leading that department. And, helping others achieve. So he grew out of his seat. Now he has other comfort advisors that he is leading. And then we have Dale Saunders and Bruce. Dale is our service manager. Bruce Terrell is our install manager. They came here with no experience and they started as service technicians. And one is about 3.5 years ago. Bruce's his 3-year anniversary is tomorrow. And they had no experience. We put them in a truck. And these were in the early days when they started, where it's you sign the paper, you get in a truck and figure it out kind of thing. We didn't really have any onboarding or good processes in place for them. And they worked a ton of hours. They worked 7 days a week, helping us out in the field and just helping us figure it out along the way. And they are now leading departments and leading them better than Joey and I ever could and ever did. So we're just really, really thankful to have them, and we're their hype men and they're ours. And we're just really thankful to have them.
That's freaking awesome. One thing I just have to point out. So I was a guest on a podcast that may already be out by the time this podcast airs. I was at a Lemon Seed Marketing's podcast, and they asked
Yeah.
me, Jackie, if you were to start a service business tomorrow, what would you do? And I was like, I would get all my friends who are entertainers, who are comedians, who are artists, and I
Yeah.
would teach them how to sell. And when
Yes.
you talked about the person who came from radio, that is just a prime example of, you can teach the equipment, you can teach the technology, you can teach the technical skills, but man, when you find someone who has charisma, who has the ability to really have that personality with customers, that's invaluable. And you can find that anywhere.
Oh, it's amazing. And then with your team too, and we talk a lot about a movement, and it's a big goal of Rogers. We, want to be a household name in the home services industry across America. That's a huge goal. And I can talk a lot about that as far as speaking things into existence and making those goals happen. But, when you put yourself out there and you open yourself up to um, bringing other people in and collaborating. We have one of our leadership team members that just started with us. This is her first month here, but she's been with us, we like to say, for a year and a half, because we were actually able to, she was our Power Selling Pros coach for our CSRs. And
Oh
then
my goodness.
an opportunity opened up here for her to run our opportunity center. And so we were able, she just started with us a month ago, and she is moved here, from Mississippi. Sabrine moved here from Mississippi and to this small town, and she's leading our opportunity center. So it's amazing what can happen when you really open yourself up and provide those opportunities and talk to people and talk things into existence and let people know what opportunities are out there. They come to you. And we're just so honored to have the team that we have.
Talking things into existence. We are going to get to that too, but I want to circle back to growing out of their seat. And you've said this a couple times, but I want to just highlight, underline, bold, italicize the joining the Rogers movement. I think that's such a beautiful way to refer to the goal that you, Joey, and the team are working towards. And I could just say, I think like how we speak every day with our team members, with our partners, with folks that we're just meeting in the industry, I think can really leave an impression. And you're one of the first folks I've ever interviewed on the show who referred to not joining the company, but joining the movement.
Yeah.
And I think you'd said, it does sound a little culty, but it's not. And I'm like, I know, but it's memorable, right? So going back to growing out of your seat, you like to help team members grow out of your seat. So tell me how this all ties in with goal setting for roles in the company.
So early on, we realized, of course, we knew we wanted to grow. And so growth and grow it was the most common used word here at Rogers. And then we realized really quickly, we kept talking about that, but what does that mean to someone walking in or coming into our organization? What does growth mean? Okay, you're going to grow. What is that, by 2%, 10%? What does that mean for me? So we realized really quickly that we needed to explain that better. And how we did that is we want to know what everyone's personal, professional, and financial goals are. What are they? What do they want to achieve? And writing out for them. So the first training I ever did centered around this at our organization is I wrote down our org chart. And I put everyone's names of, where they were now, and then all of the openings that were to come in the coming years. And they could see those gaps of the opportunity that was there, and then letting them know that we're growing. So what they see there, it could change, and it could, we could implement some different roles and responsibilities, but there is opportunity here. And so we started having the conversations of what are your personal goals? What are your professional goals? What are your financial goals? And how can we get you there? Because, our ultimate CEO are our customers. We have to do, everything that they need us to do. We have to be there for them, because without our customers, we'd have nobody. And so a lot of them could think, oh, Joey and you and this, and, no, it's our customers. They're the ones that dictate, how the business is running and how it grows. So how are we going to serve them? And so putting that on paper and letting them know there is opportunity here. And I don't want anyone coming in here in this seat, whatever they're coming into, and staying there forever. Because to be a household name in the home services industry across America, we can't just stay in the same seat forever. We've got to be growing, and we've got to be moving and shaking, and everyone's capable of that. And everyone that joins this movement, we know that they are capable of way more than they come in, in the role that they're in, and we want to get them to their full potential.
That's awesome. I need to ask. So I'm just thinking about how proactive you were in that moment. Not a lot of people know to do that, to
Right.
figure out, okay, these are the roles that we think we're going to be hiring,
Mhm.
what we're pacing to hire for, being able to put that up, show that to your employees and say, hey, these are some opportunities that are going to open up. Just keep that in your mind if that's something that you want to achieve. Did you go through any type of intensive business planning or to like at the beginning with Rogers to kind of set the pace, to kind of like pave the way, so to speak?
Sure. So in the beginning, and I mean, it's probably the one of the biggest lessons that Joey and I have learned along this journey is in the beginning, we thought we had to invent everything, figure it all out on our own. We were just kind of going, learning as we go and figuring it out as we go. And then we found right before the world shut down, Service Nation. And they helped us a lot. The mentorship from them was huge, and really helped us get to the next level and know that we didn't have to reinvent everything. And there were processes out there, and there were people willing to share those processes with us so we could implement them at our facility. And then just within the last year, we have worked a lot with the 10X community, Cardone Ventures, on really growing our business even bigger than we could ever imagine. And so those two organizations have been instrumental in getting us to where we are today. And with their help and guidance and learning really quickly, when you surround yourself with people that know more than you, um, it'll help you raise your leadership lid, greatly. And having people to look up to, listening to podcasts, Toolbox for the Trades. I'm a listener. I was honored to be asked to come on here because I was
Aw.
kind of in awe because I do listen. And podcasts, even, they're a free resource, and you're surrounding yourself with so many like-minded people through podcasts that it really does grow you personally and professionally.
On that, well, thank you for being a listener. I'm always humbled when I accidentally stumble upon listeners when I reach out to folks in the ServiceTitan community to be on the show. Um, you were actually referred to me by our Torch, the people who run our
Yeah.
Torch network, Brittany Burgess and Emily Smith. They highlighted your name and said you need to talk to Alyssa, and that just goes to show how you also leverage the Torch network at ServiceTitan, which is this group of customers that are really engaged in our process and our growth. They work with us to create content, to give referrals to other customers. And I'm assuming that was just one of the other ways that you're like, how can I get more involved with the contracting network and be connected with as many people as I can so I can learn from them?
100%. And I mean, just taking advantage of every opportunity and never taking, this is very important to me, and I preach this within our organization. Email is so important because you can think that you're inundated with so many emails, and you never know what's going to come through your emails. And that could be a marketing email that you think is just like another marketing email that gets sent out to thousands of people, but there could be a call to action in there where you can sign up for something. You can sign up for a free training, you can watch a free webinar, you can join a group like the Torch Network, and look at where I am today, all from just, staying on top of those things and taking advantage of opportunities that come across my desk that I didn't even really know at the time was an opportunity. So, and
Yeah.
then, ServiceTitan. I mean, it's been huge for our organization, and we don't talk about it as much as we should because we could definitely not be tracking what we're tracking today, and knowing our leadership team couldn't be as successful as they are without having ServiceTitan as a huge part of our organization, and knowing that we're going to grow to a massive organization and have a software program that can come with us on that journey and fulfill every need for for the company. So that's been very instrumental in our sales, and it's going to help us hit our first $1 million month.
I'm really happy to hear that. I think I've mentioned this before. I say it a lot in my personal life, so I'm sure I've said it on the podcast at this point. It's amazing. I've done so many freaking episodes that I cannot remember what I've said and what I haven't said. But
Congratulations.
I've
It's a
worked
huge
for,
win.
thank you. I've worked for many software companies in my tech career, and it's always humbling for me to talk to customers like you and hear that the service that I work for actually provides value. So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Now, let's talk about speaking things into existence, right?
Yes.
2017, you were on the corporate ladder. You were going down the same career that you saw your parents go through. You married a service entrepreneur, and now you are a service entrepreneur. And you said, we want to be a national brand in
Mhm.
HVAC. So, talk to me about how you think about speaking everything into existence and that no goal is too large.
Yeah. It's very big, for me, for everyone here, because how do we know? And leading, the amount of people that we lead, how do we know where they want to go if they don't talk about it? And being the hype woman saying, "You got this, you can do this. No goal is too large." And I learned a huge lesson when I was in the corporate world. My first job out of college, it was in marketing. It was for a health system, and I was very lucky. I was young, 22 years old, and I was very lucky to work with a great manager who had a lot of experience, and she really taught me how to be a professional. But I also got to work alongside the CEO of the health system at the time, and got to know him well. And he was the type of leader that walked around a lot. He knew everyone. So he would sit down in my office on a regular basis and talk to me. And I mean, I felt comfortable talking to him, but I guess not enough, because he would always ask me, like, "How are you doing? How are things going?" And I'd always say, "Oh, things are great. I love my job. Everything's fine. I'm good." And then when I started looking at other opportunities, because I got to a point where I wanted to grow and I wanted to do more, and didn't really see that for me at the health system. And it all is because I probably didn't talk about it enough. The day I put my notice in, the first call I got was from the CEO of the health system. And he pulled me down to his office and he sat me down and said, "Alyssa, why didn't you tell me?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And
Hmm.
he said, "You never told me that you were unhappy, that you wanted more opportunities. You always told me you were fine. Everything was good. You were happy where you were. So I didn't know that you wanted more at this moment in your life. And I didn't know what your goals were." So I always have taken that with me throughout my entire life. And I ended up leaving and going to the next opportunity, which was the stepping stone to getting here. But I've taken that with me, and I've always talked about what I want, what my goals are, because if I don't talk about them, no one's going to know that that's what I'm trying to achieve. So how is it going to happen if I'm not willing to talk about it? And so I talk to our team a lot about that too, because I want them to be able to talk about their goals, and there's no goal too small, or too large, I should say. There's no goal too large for them to want to achieve. And so we write them down. We cheer each other on. Everyone here can tell you that we're going to be a national brand. We're going to be a household name. And that could seem huge. We have a Rogers model jet in our office that everyone can see. We don't have a jet yet, but that's a goal. And we're going to look at that every day, and we're going to speak that into existence, and we're going to talk like we have one. So when we do have it, we can celebrate it. So it's just really important to us to always talk about where we're growing, and have others feel that too. And I know I can walk into any department right now and ask them what their goal is, and they're going to tell me what their goal is for the day, for the week, for the year. I was just talking to a service technician this morning, and I said, "What is your goal for the week?" And he told me, and when he hits that, we celebrate it. I said, "Okay, I'm going to be keeping tabs on that. So when he hits it, I can call him and I can talk to him about it, and we can cheer each other on."
I love that. And I also just love the foresight you have with sharing that way of thinking with your team. Because what
Yeah,
happened with you when you were 22 to your boss, you don't want that happening to you now as a boss, or I should say
never.
as a leader. Yeah, you don't
I
want
never
tech.
want, yeah, I never want anyone walking in here and saying, "I'm going to a different company, or I'm going here or there." And I didn't know that they were unhappy. Because then I haven't done my job, right? And
Mm.
I need to make sure that I know where everyone wants to grow to, and that we are supplying them all the resources they need to do their job well and to grow. And so I always want to make sure that I'm very open with them, and they know that they can come talk to anyone and we can help them achieve that.
I love that. So I knew we were gonna, we're running out of time, but I want to ask you a few more questions.
Go
So
for it.
real quick, what is the hardest lesson you've learned since transitioning from the corporate world to becoming a service entrepreneur?
In the corporate world, everything is very processed out, and you get the job, and there have been hundreds, maybe thousands of people that have done it before you and are currently in that role. And so it's pretty much laid out of you do this and this, and you just get really good at this. And then you can move on to the next step. The service world is not like that. And being a service entrepreneur and growing this business, we're learning every day. We talk a lot about processes, and that's by far one of the hardest things to do is create processes. You would think, oh, you just write down what you do every day. Like, who is really writing down what they do every day? It's like the
No,
hardest thing,
it's
but the
so hard.
easiest thing.
It's so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I just do everything. But one of the lessons that I've learned is, you have to duplicate yourself. And as hard as it can be, I talk about growing out of your seat. Well, I'm not going to grow out of my seat unless I have someone that I can, fill it with. And so I had a mistake that we made in the beginning was thinking we could do it all on our own and not bringing in the right people, and not sharing our resources and not collaborating. And so we have learned that that's what we have to do. We have to surround ourselves with people that know more than we do so we can grow. And then we need to make sure that we're sharing that with our team and providing them the opportunities to grow as well. And so I don't always see that in the corporate world or where I was. You have this ladder that you can climb, and you know where you want to go, and it's very competitive, and can be hard at times. And although this can be, I feel like it's more collaborative in the service world because we need more people in the trades in all
Hmm.
fronts. And so why compete so much? Let's come together and collaborate more so we can grow together and not be fighting each other. So I feel like coming from corporate to being a service entrepreneur has definitely been a shift for me, but I'm very, very lucky to do it beside my husband, Joey. He's a huge reason. He is the reason why I'm here today. And, just really lucky to be on the same page with him and have, do this together. It's really important to us to be able to do that. And I'm just so thankful that he truly is the visionary. I just kind of, I've always he's the tornado, and I pick up the pieces and make it all happen um, along with others now. But he truly is, a huge part of this and why I'm sitting here today and able to talk to you. So that's
That's awesome.
really big.
That's really cool. You also sound like you've got some tornado energy. Maybe not as chaotic. Maybe like, what would be
I'm an
another
organized.
major, yeah, maybe another major event that like organizes? Maybe like, I don't know. We'll have to come back to it. I can't think of anything right now, but
Being
you
around
definitely have.
him, like I'm telling you, he's a force, and so he has us all, hyped up all the time. I'm definitely the like goal driven, and I'm always talking about the goals and what we're going to achieve, and he's very much the mindset part of it. He's like he'll get your mindset right and get you geared up. So
I
it's a
love
good
it.
balance.
So I have a few more questions for you. You have a very cool recruiting tool at your disposal, and I always love when folks podcast as well. So tell me
Yes.
about the Rogers Radio podcast.
So, the Rogers Radio podcast, I wanted to start a podcast for years, and couldn't figure out how I was going to do that. Did it need to be separate from Rogers? What it needed to be. And so finally, our website company, Rival Digital, they were meeting with us on our website and what we were going to accomplish with that, which is really awesome. And I mentioned the podcast because they have a podcast too. And they said, oh, well, we can help you with that if you want us to help you. And I said, wow, because one of the things that was holding me back is it's all the editing and how do I get it on all the platforms and how do I do all of this? And so they said they were going to help with all of it. And I said, no problem. I will make sure I get this set up and we will make this happen. It has been such an amazing experience, more than I ever thought it could be. It's definitely part of our marketing strategy at Rogers and our recruitment strategy because I bring people on from the community, leaders in our community. I bring them on. I get to know their story. I want to know how they got to where they are, what their struggles have been, what their wins have been. And it has helped so much to get the word out about Rogers. And I'm not even on there talking about Rogers, but having them on there and learning their story has been so wonderful. And it's been amazing to give back to the community in that way and have others know the successes of these people. And then I have team members on. And
I love that.
I just wanted to, we had people on our team that wanted to be on the podcast. I wanted to get to know them better. So I said, okay, let's start coming on. Little did I know that we would have people calling the office or submitting resumes saying, I listened to your podcast when you were interviewing this team member. I'd love a spot on the team. And then they just started coming in more. And the amount of people that say, hey, I listened to the podcast and come up to me and say they want to join our team from listening to other team members talk about their experience here has been so amazing. And it's one of the, things that happened from the podcast that I never knew would, but am thrilled about. So I really highly recommend people start a podcast. Even if you think you don't know what you're doing, just do it and be consistent with it. And it's so beneficial.
I 100% agree. Podcasts, it's a big undertaking. I'll take away one big. It's an undertaking, right? You have to plan it out, but it can be such a great way to network with people. And amazing. How cool is it now that you have personal relationships with all of the leaders in your area?
Right. It's
that maybe
amazing.
their unit breaks and they're like, oh crap, we need a new unit. Oh, what about Alyssa? It's like, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's kind of a no-brainer, but you really have to think about it because you're never going to get like, this podcast gave us X amount of leads or drove or had this many average tickets. Like it's a much bigger play, but I think it's so crucial. And I love that you highlight your employees on there as well. I think that's awesome.
Yes. It's so much fun. I love doing it. It's one of my favorite things that, like I said, I always wanted to do. And I'm just so happy to be able to do it, under the Rogers umbrella.
That's so cool. All right. Got my final question for you, Alyssa. Thank you so much for your time and your energy today. You are certainly energizing me today. I've got a busy couple of days ahead, but I am ready to take on those challenges.
Let's go.
From talking to you. You know that I love to end the show with icebreaker questions, just random questions, because you're a listener. So I'm trying out some new ones this season, and I found one I think would be a good fit for you, which is, what would you like to be known or remembered for?
I want to be known as the hype woman. I want to be known as providing opportunities to people they never knew existed and always cheering them on and letting them know that there are opportunities out there that, they can achieve, they can grow into anything they want to grow into. I always say my most exciting thing about running a company is providing raises and promotions because I love to provide those opportunities to individuals because they work so hard for it and they deserve it when we give them. And I've seen the growth. When I see our team in action and I remember them from when they started with no experience. I remember the day they walked in and didn't even, some of our CSRs didn't even know how to answer the phone, and to where they are today and the way they're answering the phone and how they're taking care of our customers is just so fulfilling to me. And I just always cheer them on. And when I hear them get off the phone and they had a great call, it's like, let's go. That was a great call. I loved it. And I love cheering people on. And I always think about, when we give raises or promotions, or, we're hyping people up, like, what is that? I wish I could hear that first call when they leave the office, to their family
Hmm.
member, to their husband, their wife, their mom, their dad, whoever it may be, like, what is that first call? We just changed their life. And,
Hmm.
it's just, I always wish I could hear that. And, and I just, I'm not only thinking about them, but I'm thinking about their families and how it impacted them in a positive way, and how we can continue doing that. So I want to be the hype woman. Let's go. Let's crush these goals. We got this.
I love that. If you want to come, if you want to fly out to Los Angeles every morning and just like start my day with me, that would be fantastic, Alyssa.
Hey, we could do a call every
Um,
morning. Hey, I do it with my daughter every morning. We have like our positive affirmations. And so, I mean, we can do it right now. Do you want to be hyped up? Let's do what we do
I
every
would love to
morning.
be hyped up. Hype me up. Hype me up
Okay.
right now. Give
All
me a
right.
hype.
So repeat after me.
Okay.
I am great.
I am great.
I am strong.
I am strong.
I am beautiful.
I am beautiful.
It's going to be a great day.
It's going to be a great day.
Let's go. I do that with
Thank
my daughter
you.
every morning.
I love that. I love that. Alyssa, thank you so much for joining me on Toolbox for the Trades. This was an awesome interview. Certainly one I'm going to remember, and I can't wait to see where you guys are a year from now. It's going to be so exciting.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.